Hi, guys. Welcome back to ShySpace. And what day is it? It's a day. Happy day to wherever you are. I hope you're having a great day and thank you so much for being here. If you're new here, I literally have no idea what you're doing here and how you got here, but I'm so thankful that you're here. And if you're returning, I'm even more thankful. So thank you for being here. My name is Shy. I'm the host of this podcast, and it has been a little minute since the last episode. I swore that I wouldn't do this after everything that went down last year with the podcast, but you know what? Got to give myself grace. It's been a busy month. I've had a lot going on. And to be completely honest, like with the girlies, I know that I'm at that point, like in my very dysregulated cycle because of the birth control that I'm on. That makes me like very tired and very much like needing rest. So I just try to honor that, which honestly, it's what I preach. So if I can't practice it myself and tell that to my listeners and the people in my community, like, then literally what is the point of what I'm doing here? So anyways, I have a lot to catch you up on from a personal standpoint, and then we have a very exciting episode for this week talking about the money frequency. Now, I feel like money is something that people are always struggling with in one way or another, whether it's just because they want more, or it's because they can't afford big things that they want, or maybe it's because they have a lot of debt, or they have student loans, or whatever it may be. There's always some type of negativity that can surround money and the money frequency and just like how we operate and how we interact with money on a daily basis. So I'm really excited to talk about what I've learned about the money frequency and ways that I've been able to attract more abundance and more money into my life on a regular basis, a very natural reoccurring basis, and just try to help people understand and demystify it a little bit because it's something that I'm still working on very actively on an ongoing basis. Like I just said, there's obviously more money that I want to make and more things that I want to buy and more milestones that I want to reach. But a couple years ago, I wasn't at the milestone that I'm at now. And so it's just a continual growth and it's a journey, just continuing to evolve and grow as a human being or grow your practice and your skill is a journey. It is also a journey to continue growing your relationship with money and just your identity as it pertains to what you think that you are eligible to earn or even like worthy of earning. I hate saying that because tying your worth to your income is just a recipe for disaster, and I do it myself, so I'm not really one to talk. However, it is a recipe for disaster, and I wish people wouldn't do it, and I wish that we weren't raised that way because we would find a lot more ease in attracting money if we were not so hell-bent on getting it all of the time. I'm laughing because I'm speaking for myself. I am the biggest blocker to my own success because of the thought patterns that I have and the spirals that I let myself go down. Anyways, let's get into it. A quick update for you guys on just like where things have been at. If you are curious from a personal standpoint, I went on a trip the week after my last episode and I was going to film it that week and then I was going to edit it and post it. And I didn't end up doing that. So I thought that I would just take 1 week off. And of course, that 1 week leads that momentum into 3 weeks, or I think it might even be 4 weeks now. So the momentum that I just mentioned is actually something that I want you guys to like think about and remember for later in the episode because momentum is a huge factor and concept when it comes to manifestation. And it's just really something that's important to understand, like how momentum works and how momentum impacts you. But got the momentum to not film more episodes. I also had one of my best friends come visit me for a weekend, and then she came and visited again this past weekend to get engaged. And so there was a whole big celebration for her and her fiance's 30th birthday. So it's just been a really busy month. And one thing that I've learned in this busyness that has been September, which by the way, I've also learned that people call September Stress-tember. I had no idea until one of my friends was like, I'm stressed out. Look what I found on the internet. Google says that September has often been identified as one of the more stressful months in the year due to like changing in routines, school starting, all those things. And people call it Stress-tember. And I was actually dying because I'm like, I've been so stressed out this month from just having taken a week, not off from work, but it felt like a week off because I traveled to SF. I went first to see friends and then I rolled into the conference for the week and that was Labor Day. So it was like we had Monday off and then it was the conference all week. It just it basically felt like I had a whole week removed. And as a sales girly, you know that when you take any time off, if you're working on a monthly quota, it immediately impacts your ability to deliver as well as you might have been able to in other months because you just had more time. Obviously, at the conference, I was still working and pushing things along, but just not with the same capacity that I would usually have. Big bummer for my wallet, but we always thrive and we always come out on top and it always works out. So that's the language that I'm instilling in myself today. And I want that to be the language that you instill in yourself on the daily whenever you're talking about work or anything as it pertains to your life and your wallet. So that's basically where we've been for the past month. And yeah, things have been great. Sorry, I just have to really quickly scoot over and show my dog that's behind me. She looks so weird. What is she doing? Literally, what was that, girl? She was giving me the weirdest side eye. In my opinion, that's giving, why the hell are you not petting me? She gets really, really upset if I'm laying next to her and I'm not just giving her pets. Oh, there we go. Leg up. Okay. So talking about the money frequency, what if I told you that money is just energy and you can literally tune into it like a radio station? So I know that we've talked about Bob Proctor, I think potentially even last week, and we've just talked about him before in general because he is one of the people that I've learned a lot from indirectly and somewhat directly because I've attended his webinars and things over the years before he passed away. But his teachings are like the primary foundation of what I'm going to be talking about today. So everything that I'm sharing with you are things that I've learned from Bob Proctor himself and his team at Proctor Gallagher Institute back in like 2022, 2021. I want to demystify the word frequency first, just to make sure that people understand that this word and this energy basically connects to money, abundance, and mindset. If you don't understand what a frequency is, this might be a little bit confusing, but I feel like most people do. The world and everything in our world operates on a certain frequency, and there's different frequencies, right? So music, light, sounds, all the things. Everything is energy. Everything is made up of atoms, which is energy, and everything is constantly vibrating because atoms consistently move. I don't know why. That's how it works. I know that, but I don't know exactly why. So I sound really stupid explaining this, but you can fact check it. Anyways, with that being said, everything is constantly vibrating in a certain energy and a certain frequency. People in the spiritual world always talk about raising your vibration and aligning with a certain frequency. And so that's what we're talking about, is like the fact that money is on a certain frequency and your goal is to match that frequency so that you can attract it into your life, just like you would with anything else, any other thing that has a certain frequency that you would match up with by becoming that. So stepping into wealth, a wealth mindset essentially is what you're looking to do. The one thing that I want to frame here and just emphasize is that this is not about getting rich. It's about aligning your thoughts, emotions, your mindset, and your overall self-image with that of abundance. And that is a very multifaceted word and concept, abundance. When I say that, it's not just money. There's so many things. I love this. I feel like I could talk about this all day. It's really what saved me and put money in my pockets. So I'm like, yes, everybody needs to know this. The core idea is that money is a frequency. We just talked about that. So everything in the universe has a vibration. Money is no different. Our results is a direct reflection of the vibration that we're on. So if you're not getting the results that you want, you have to look inwards, unfortunately, and analyze what's going on there, because your self-image and your paradigm is ultimately going to dictate whether or not you're aligned with wealth or scarcity. So what are the thoughts that you're thinking on a daily basis when you pay your bills, when you check your bank account, when you buy things, when you think about money in general, when you think about your paycheck, when you go to work? Like anytime you're thinking about money, which if you're anything like me and you're crazy, you think about money all the time. And so it can be really bad when you're just stressing and thinking really negatively and like worrying about things, even if you don't necessarily have anything to worry about. Anybody else out there like me with the anxiety? And it's just like, even if you have a full ass bank account and your bills are paid and like you have no reason to worry, you're still like somewhat, you're like, there's something there. I don't know what it is. Needing more savings, needing less debt, whatever it is. I don't know. It's always something. You have to become very hyper aware and very hypercritical of your own thoughts and your own habitual thought processes as it pertains to everything in your life. You have to just get like really far removed from your identity and be like analyzing everything that you're thinking. And it's really hard to do. It's like training a muscle. But once you do it, you start to realize, if you're, again, anything like me, that most of the thoughts that you're thinking surrounding money are shit. Just complete shit, dog shit, literally. Why? Tell me why. Because you would never recommend that somebody think that way about anything in their life, right? So it's like, why are you doing that? Like, why do we do that? I don't know. But we're going to undo it because it's just literally the dumbest thing ever, in my opinion. So with that, you just try to remember that money is an idea. It's an energy and it's waiting for you to match its frequency. So if you want to get really philosophical about it, you can think about the fact that like everything in life is just an idea. And like, zoom all the way out. We're freaking just a little tiny human living on this floating rock in this massive universe. Like money, it's not real. Like it is real because reality, but just use your brain, think outside the box. Like it is an energy. You can align with it and you can attract it. Look at the people in the world around you that you have no idea how they've attracted the type of life or the type of wealth that they have. And you're like, literally, what are you doing? You seem like you have 4 brain cells. Like you definitely don't work so hard as me. Like, why are you winning? Like, why are you so rich? All this stuff. Why are you on these vacations? It's not that hard. I promise. So you can do it. I made a video a couple years back when I started really seeing the fruits of my labor from these teachings. And it was funny. It stirred up a lot of controversy, which is hilarious. But I basically made a video saying that you don't have to be smart or have an education to make a lot of money. And I stand by that to this day. Bob Proctor did not even graduate high school, if I'm remembering correctly, which I'm going to check this before I post it. I know that I am because I know everything about Bob. But he didn't even graduate high school. Fuck out of here with your bullshit ass vibes. Like the woe is me mindset of being like, no, there's a reason that I can't achieve success. There's a reason that I can't achieve wealth, blah, blah, blah. I'm sorry. Like, don't come at me with that stuff because that is not what I'm here for. I'm not here to talk about like all the reasons why you believe that you cannot succeed because of like the cards that you've been dealt. No, there's a million other people that I could show you that literally just prove you wrong with their own success and their own story. So no victim mindsets here. Okay, moving on to the next pillar to think about when it comes to shifting your mindset to align with the money frequency is what I like to call the 3 Ps. So we have perception, paradigms, and polarity, specifically the law of polarity. Perception is how you see yourself, which impacts what you attract. So do you see yourself as somebody who could be wealthy? Like, do you actually see yourself as somebody who could have the type of wealth that you want to attain? And do you actually see yourself as somebody who could live that life, go to those events, wear the clothes, have the big bank account, spend the big bucks? Can you see yourself doing that? If you can't, then you're far off from your goal because you have to be able to see it in your mind to hold it in your hand. So again, perception, how you see yourself, which impacts what you attract. Then we have your paradigms. Paradigms are not what you know, but the subconscious patterns you live by that determine your results. So it's like very deeply rooted programming, essentially, is what you can think of when you think of paradigms. And then from the law of polarity, basically, it states that for every lack, there's an equal abundance. You just choose which side to focus on. So there's always a positive for a negative is basically the other way that I could sum that up, I guess. Last thing, this is not part of the 3 Ps, but talking about tools to shift your mindset to align with the money frequency is really imagination. That's a huge tool and a huge mental faculty that Bob teaches about and taught about. And it's something that he actually teaches that you need to like exercise and learn about and learn how to strengthen your imagination because it's basically the mental tool or the mental workshop that lets you tune into the life and the finances or financial state that you want to have and you want to attract. So if you're not good at using your imagination to imagine yourself in the scenarios that I referenced a few moments ago, it's going to be really hard for you to attract something that you just genuinely can't even picture. It has to be very close to your heart and very close to your soul. Another way that we can attract money into our life is by understanding the different goals that you can set for yourself and the types of energy that are associated with those goals. I think I might have butchered my explanation of the A, B, and C type goals in my last episode, so I apologize. It was only a slight butcher if I did. So an A type goal is what you already know how to do. A B type goal is what you think you can do. And a C type goal is a goal that stretches you so far that you don't yet know how to achieve it, but you really deeply desire it. I love those goals because they do not make me feel good, but they make me stretch, like I just said, and they actually help you achieve crazy things. So I have a C goal that I'm working on right now, and it rattles me to my core, to be completely honest. But I know that the day that it happens, I'm going to look back and be like, hell yeah, highly recommend going for the C type goals. That's genuinely a goal where you say it and you're like almost embarrassed to tell people because you're like, how am I going to do that? You're going to figure it out. If you don't set the goal, like literally, you don't have to set goals to be successful. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying this is a helpful tool to do that. And it's something that my mentor teaches me. It's something that Bob taught, and it's something that I use in my life. So I obviously want to share it. But I do have a C goal that I have on a goal card, and I keep that goal card in my car. And then I have one in my wallet too, which is kind of like, I know it's there. So the energy is there, but I don't see it because I have a small wallet. So those are the two things that I recommend when it comes to setting goals, but you don't have to do that. Even if you just loosely know what you're going for and it scares you and it stretches you, that has an energy to it as well. So that will still help propel you to where you're trying to go regardless. And then on the same note with the 3 types of goals that you can set, there's also 3 income strategies that are pretty much well known, I would say, but I just like to highlight them because you never know. So the first one, which we call M1 in Bob's teachings, is trading time for money. So that's just like your typical job. M2 is investing money to make money. And M3 is having multiple sources of income. So the reason I share this specifically is because the M3 section, the multiple sources of income, is where 96% of wealth comes from, but only 1% of people operate. So crazy to think about. I am in that category, which is crazy, and I do make good money, so I'm not complaining, but it's just weird to think about because in my opinion, I would think that more people would have multiple sources of income. But anyways, something that I want people to think about too when I share that is like, why do most people stay stuck in the M1 section, and understanding how that shifting of the money frequency within yourself actually moves you towards M3. So if it's something that, you've always wanted to have multiple sources of income and you don't know how to get there, I would highly recommend starting with setting goals and understanding where you're at as it pertains to making money and being rich. Some daily practices to help you stay on the frequency. I love these. So Bob and many other mentors that I've had always teach you to mentally spend money every day. So basically visualizing, using imagination to circulate abundance. This is a really fun one. I haven't done this in a while, but I used to try to spend $1,000 a day in my mind. And it was actually funny trying to come up with things because I would just be like, I literally don't know. Like, that's crazy unless I'm going shopping. Like, what am I spending, or like paying my bills? What am I spending $1,000 a day on? And the crazy thing is too, when they teach you to do this, they tell you specifically not to do it on things like, you can't use it for things like bills and credit card debt or like any debt that you have, which is so crazy because anytime I think about getting like a large random sum of money, I'm thinking, my student loans from grad school, like, adding it to my savings, like the boring stuff, whatever, bills. And they're like, nope, you have to genuinely get so out of your comfort zone and so into your imagination. All of that's already paid for. This is all surplus money. What are you spending it on? And I'm like, okay, time to get thinking. But that's where it gets really fun because there's so many things that you can spend your money on. And how fun is it to just exercise that little right of yours to mentally spend as much money as you want? I love it. Okay, another one, I don't do this personally, but will if I ever get a bigger wallet, is to keep a small stash of cash in your wallet as a signal of wealth. I do like this one a lot. It just reminds you that, like, I don't know, in this non-tangible money world, it's nice to have that tangible piece in your wallet. Another one is auto suggestion. So writing your goal 100 times, which is crazy, but this is what Bob teaches, and also visualizing it every morning. Gratitude is another big one. This amplifies the frequency of money and just abundance in general. So appreciating what you already have in life outside of money specifically amplifies that frequency. And then canceling negative thoughts immediately by using the cancel reframe method, which is basically just like when a bad thought comes in, you recognize it, you say cancel to yourself or out loud, whatever you want, and you reframe it into something positive and you go on that track. And you just don't let it spiral and run out of control with that negative thought. Last couple things here is the emotional connection that you have with your goal or your desired outcome is really important, because something that I've always been taught is to detach from the how when it comes to making money, getting certain things, whatever it may be. This one's really hard for me because I'm a very practical person and I really like to lean on things that are practical and scientific-y that help reduce anxiety because it just feels safe. It's like there's proof of something. I don't know. So not being able to lock into the imagination of really how I want things to happen has been hard, but I'm working on it and it's really important. So just focusing on the emotional harmony with your goal rather than how it's going to come is like the golden ticket, essentially. And then same thing with the emotional connection, like really falling in love with the future lifestyle that you're going to live, embody it now, feel it every single day, wake up in that mindset and that feeling every single day, like really be convinced that it's true and that it's real and that it's here and it's happening. Because if you are convinced, then you will be aligned and then you will easily attract the things, the people, the circumstances that you need to achieve what you want to achieve. Your mind can't tell the difference between what's real and imagined. So tell it the story that you want and it will do the rest. It's crazy, but it's true. So just literally trick yourself. It's like people always talk about living in Delulu and I'm like, yes. My coach is actually against delusion. He likes to preach neutral thinking, which I'm a big fan for, but I will challenge him on this always through and through. Thinking delusional is a good thing because tricking your subconscious is not easy to do, and you can do it by being delusional. So I will die on that hill. But anyways, on that note, when we're talking about actually trying to like break through the barrier that is the subconscious, your paradigm is always going to resist. Your old habits are always going to fight you when you try to shift. So it's going to feel really uncomfortable and unnatural. That's normal. And you just have to push through it. You just have to keep going and just know that your knowledge and your faith are the antidotes and you're going to be okay and everything's fine. Doing new things is scary. Thinking new ways is scary. Clinging onto fear is natural, but it's not healthy and it does not do anything for you, your life, or your wallet. Adversity in life is normal. Having ebbs and flows with money is normal. Struggling with money is normal. Feeling this way about money is normal. But stay in alignment with who you want to be and what life you want to live rather than dropping your standards to meet yourself in a state of fear and lack. Do not drop your standards just because you're afraid. You deserve better than that. You owe it to yourself, to your family, to your future family, whatever it is, your future self. You owe it to everything and everyone to stand in your power no matter what is going on the outside of you. It does not matter. Being stuck is actually a creative state. Dissatisfaction sparks growth. So if you're in that dissatisfied state and you're uncomfortable and unhappy, be grateful for that. Use gratitude, the tool to bring in more abundance and bring you to that frequency. Be grateful for that because it's what's pushing you into the space that you need to be in to make a change and to actually recognize that something's got to give or something's got to go. It's kind of hard to come to that conclusion or come to that level of motivation without it, at least for me. I'm very much a girl who likes to be comfortable and likes my routine and doesn't always want to go outside of that. I tend to keep myself in situations that I shouldn't stay in because I like the known. And it's always a disservice to myself. So don't do that. But like I said, appreciate the stuck feeling, because it actually is a creative state. You just have to change how you think about it. That's everything that I wanted to share with you guys on this topic. And I feel like I'm buzzing right now just thinking about all that and talking about all that. So I hope this was helpful for somebody. And I hope that one of y'all gets some crazy, like, random check or random gift card or whatever it is. Those things happen to me all the time and I love it. The one thing that I'm really trying to manifest is picking up a $100 bill on the ground, because I feel like that's super rare. And I'm telling myself that story that it's rare, so I'm obviously not attracting it. But yeah, I just get random stuff all the time, like random lawsuits that I submit information for and then I get random Venmos for later on, or random checks or gift cards. Like, so many random things happen to me. Literally, where did I go the other day? I parked somewhere in Austin and I paid like $8 for parking. I went to Chalmers, this bar in Austin. And then after I got back, I got an email from them, the parking company, saying that they sent me a gift card, and it ended up being a $50 gift card that I could use at like a dispensary gummy place. Target audience reached. Like, what? So yeah, I don't know. Life is weird. Life is crazy. I got some free edibles coming my way thanks to the $8 that I spent at Laz parking. So just believe, be delusional, be silly, believe, be in your imagination, and just try to stay there, because that energy and that frequency will always take you further and always take you to where you're meant to go. So remember that money is not outside of you. It's within you. It's within the vibration that you choose. And I'll give you guys a challenge, a very practical challenge, which is to spend 10 minutes a day visualizing yourself already in your wealthy lifestyle. You can do this like in the middle of the day, while you're driving, while you're meditating, whenever. Just do it. It's fun. It's super fun. And actually, I bet you will feel so much better afterwards, and you will notice a change in your energy. You can always tune your mind like a dial. The money frequency is always playing. You just need to align. So that's all I have for you guys today. I hope this was helpful. I love you guys so much. Thank you for being here. Thank you for supporting me and listening and watching and doing all of the things. It really means a lot to me. I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and I'll see you next time.